Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video. In this video, I'm going to be playing some AI Dungeon 2. This is episode 13 of Jet, Starlight, and Zana Fairy Monster Hunters. If you guys have not watched episodes 1 through 12, then feel free to click on the link in the description box below to the series playlist. I'll also have a link to the series playlist in the end card. If you would like to read the story in full on the AI Dungeon website, I will also have a link to the story in the description box below. And if you guys would like to talk about the show together, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below or join our Discord. I have a link to the Discord in the description. Without further ado, let's start off episode 13 by reading the last action from the previous episode. You get intimate with Zana. You and Zana get intimate in your room at the inn. After a pleasant night, you wake up in the morning. Any plans for today? Zana asks. So now I'm going to switch over to say, and I'm going to say, today I am going to train with Cammy, start getting ready for a monster hunt, and maybe try to hire an automaton engineer to join the Monster Hunter Guild. I guess I should say, like, a magic automaton engineer. Because I'm thinking about adding robots. We don't have robots, but it would be cool if we could make all the gear we need for the hunt and then give it to a robot and then be like, robot, beat the bad guys. Let's see. I'm going to head down to the training facility and train with Cammy, you say. When the game's just like, you're not going to tell Zana literally everything you're going to do today. You're just going to tell her, like, one thing. Okay. So now I'm going to change it to do. I guess I'm going to, like, kiss Zana on the cheek and then head to breakfast. Oh, no. Kiss Zana on the cheek and then go eat breakfast with the rest of the Monster Hunter Guild. I gotta make sure I eat so that the game doesn't say I get exhausted later on or something weird like that. You decide against it. Zana was coming onto you pretty strong last night, so it would be the best to just leave things alone for now. You head down to the dining area and eat breakfast. You meet with Cammy at the training room and begin your lesson. Whoa. I straight up said I was going to kiss Zana on the cheek, and then the game goes, nah, you're playing hard to get. You're just not going to kiss her on the cheek. Retry. Don't deny me my thing, game. I like how it says you decide against it. Okay, so I just hit retry. It says you walk to the Monster Hunter Guild and go through the cafeteria and sit down next to Cammy. Good morning, Cammy, you say. Good morning, Z, Cammy says in a tired voice. You grab some food from a tray and begin eating. It's interesting that it says you walk to the Monster Hunter Guild. So the Monster Hunter Guild all lives together in the inn. So we all live in the inn, and I woke up in the inn with Zana. I shouldn't have to walk anywhere. I can walk to the cafeteria. So I guess I'll change it to that. So I'm going to say, you walk to the cafeteria, or I guess you walk into the cafeteria. So you walk into the cafeteria and sit down next to Kim. Okay. So that's fine. Next, I'm going to ask Cammy if she is still free to train together today. Oh, wait, no. She said, good morning, Z. My name is Jet Starlight. I, like, completely forgot that, like, it had messed that up. So hold on. Let me go back. Because I shouldn't ignore when the AI messes stuff up like that. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to make one more edit. When it says, good morning, Z, I'm gonna have it say, "Good morning, Jet Starlight," because that's my name. The game keeps doing this thing where people will call me Zana, but I'm not Zana. Okay, now I'm going to ask Cammy if she is still free to train together today. Because she asked last episode if we could train together. You meet up with Cammy at the training center. "So are you ready to get this started?" Cammy asks. "Yep, training first, then we can do other stuff," you say. Cammy nods her head and you both begin your training for the day. So that was like a big jump. It's going pretty fast, I would say. Because it was like you eat breakfast, you ask her if she's like still free to train, you're now training. You're just like straight up fighting. Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to try to pin Cammy down using a hydrokinetic hand construct. Because we're like training fighting, but I don't know how this works when you're not like fighting an illusion or something. She's like, "I just want to train against you." You form a powerful hand construct and slam it down on Cammy. Cammy forms an energy shield, but the sheer brutality of your construct breaks through it and slams her to the floor. Not bad, but I'm not done yet. Cammy can do energy shields. I remember that Cammy's like a dark elf or whatever, but I honestly don't remember like what abilities Cammy has. I remember she was trained by Zana, and she's like a mercenary or whatever. Okay, so she says she's not done yet. So I guess that just means we're still training. How do I make her like lose the training? In a fighting game, you just go hard, and then the game's like, you beat them, but they didn't die. I don't want to accidentally like kill Cammy with something. I'm going to create hydrokinetic clones to surround Cammy and bombard her with a barrage of punches. Like, I want to make sure that whatever happens, she doesn't just, like, die. She could just die, like, if the game takes it too seriously. Because right now we're just training. You summon dozens of clones, all of which begin punching Cammy. She tries to block, but there are too many, and after a few dozen punches, she falls to the floor, defeated. "Alright, I surrender. You win this round, Jet," Cammy says, breathing heavily. Hey! I'm glad we didn't kill her. Because the AI at any point could be like, and the clones like beat her to death, and you'd have to like alter it. So I'm glad it understood the whole time that it was like a training exercise. Okay, cool. So help Cammy, I guess, heal Cammy's wounds using hydrokinetic healing salve. Just in case she took like damage from the fight. Let's see, you quickly form a salve and rub it on Cammy's wounds. "Thanks, that really helps," Cammy says. You nod your head and then begin making out with her. The game's horny. The game's always horny. Cammy says as the two of you passionately embrace one another. Let's see. So, I now have to update the story summary. You and Cammy have just finished training together. You are about to go into town to search for a magic automaton engineer. Or I guess to search for an artificer for hire who can create magic automatons. I spelled automatons wrong. Maybe, yeah, just say magic automatons for now. So then I'm going to tell Cammy, I'm about to head into town to search for an artificer for hire who can create magic automatons. Well, I guess you're going to be gone for a while. Tell me if you hear of any good jobs, Cammy says. Ooh. I'm gonna make sure I specify I am trying to recruit an artificer to join the Monster Hunter Guild so that we can have magic automatons to back us up during fights. Well, I guess during monster hunts. They could even serve like specific functions on the team, which would be nice. That's a good idea. We could certainly use the help, and automatons are hard to build, so we're unlikely to have many, Cammy says. Let's see. I'll see you when I get back, I guess is what I'll say. I wonder how the game's gonna do it. See you when you get back, sweetie, Cammy says with a smile. You walk outside the guild hall and hail a carriage to take you into the city. I'm going to search for... Real quick, because this is a thing that it likes to say a lot. It likes to say the guild hall, but we all live in the inn. We have access to the guild hall, but that's like canonically established to be just a different building. Okay, so I'm going to search the city for an artificer for hire who can create magic automatons. You walk into the city and begin asking around for an artificer who can help you. Eventually, someone tells you that one of the best lives on the north side of town in a small studio apartment. Okay. I'm going to visit the best artificer in town. Or I guess visit the studio apartment of the best artificer in town. I'm glad that I'm looking for the best artificer. When you arrive, the apartment building seems a bit run down. You take the elevator to the 8th floor and wander down the hallway looking for apartment number 14. You look at the name on the door, and sure enough, it says JC. Knock on the door. Let's see if he's home. Or she. I actually don't know the gender of the artificer. Knowing the game, it'll be another horny female NPC. Hey, middle-aged man. There we go. Prove me wrong. Let's see. So, you are at the studio apartment of the best artificer in town. You want to hire the artificer. Well, I guess you want to recruit the artificer to join the Monster Hunter Guild as the new automaton engineer. You knock on the door. It is opened by a middle-aged man with a receding hairline and a gray ponytail. Hello, I'm looking for, you start to say before the man interrupts you. I know why you're here. Ask the man for his name. I want to know what his name is. On the door it said JC. I want to see if it's consistent and it names him something like Jack Carlson or something. John Crenshaw! They did it. That's cool. He says, my name is John Crenshaw, the man says. What can you tell me about the device you built? You ask. It's about 5 feet long and it's made out of brass, he says. What does it do? I'm not going to say all that. Just when he says, my name is John Crenshaw, that's all I'm going to keep. So I'm going to alter that and get rid of all those additional lines. Okay. So now, I'm going to ask him if he knows how to build magical automatons that can be given voice commands. Because that's what I would want. I'd want to be able to, like, yell for the automatons to do stuff. I sure do, John says. Do you want to work for the guild, you ask? Sure, John says. Okay. I'm going to let John know that he'll now be living at the inn with the rest of the Monster Hunter Guild. So you'll no longer have to live in, like, this rundown, like, studio apartment or whatever. I was wondering if that would be the case, John says. I suppose you're paying for the place? You nod and pay for a month of John's apartment. John packs up his things in 2 suitcases and moves in with you. Okay. I don't know why it's like you pay for a month of John's apartment. Hold on a second. I'm going to let him say, I suppose you're paying for the place, but then I'm going to put in my own action for what I do. I'm going to say, well, I guess I should just change to say. You will be paid a share of every monster bounty we catch. Well, I guess we claim. The Monster Hunter Guild, which I guess I could also put in caps. The Monster Hunter Guild is quite wealthy, and the bounties we claim are quite large. Money is no object. Like, for us, like, it's not gonna matter. Like, you're just gonna be rich, is essentially what I'm saying. Because it's just true. We just are all rich. We all get a share. And he can make exactly what I want. So that's good. That's good for me. John agrees to work for you. Just tell me what you need, John says. Follow me back to the inn. I'll show you to your room. And introduce you to the rest of the Monster Hunter Guild. It's always good to recruit, like, a new person who will be especially helpful. I'll grab my things, John says. You and John head back to the inn. This is the Jingle Bell House, you say, as you lead John inside. A large orc approaches you and begins to bounce up and down. So I'm not going to say, this is the Jingle Bell House, because I have no idea why I would say that. I'm going to get rid of that part so that it's just, I'll grab my things, John says. You and John head back to the inn a large orc approaches you and begins to bounce up and down. Okay, so I'm going to ignore the orc, because I don't know who this orc is. And I'm just going to show John his room at the inn and introduce John to the rest of the Monster Hunter Guild. You know, give them like the basic, like, hey, like, here's where you're living, and here's everybody. You take John to the 8th floor where you show him to his room. You then introduce John to the rest of the Monster Hunter Guild. Good. That's what I want to do. Okay, so I'm glad I did it. Let's see. You just recruited an artificer to join the Monster Hunter Guild. You are about to check the mail to find a new monster bounty to hunt. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So, essentially, I'm going to explain to John that whenever... I guess I'll just explain to John that he'll be working closely with Bartleby. I should just say that. John, you'll be working closely with Bartleby. Whenever Bartleby creates new armor and weapons, you'll create an automaton that will be equipped with said armor and weapons. Yeah, so essentially I'm trying to make it where every like equipment set we have will have an automaton that also just has that equipment set. I understand, John says. You'll find that I work quickly and efficiently. I look forward to extension our alliance with the Monster Hunter Guild. John goes into his room and closes the door. I look forward to extension our alliance with the Monster Hunter Guild. I'm going to edit that just because it's so awkward and just have it be like, I look forward to working with you. Because that's more or less what he said. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go check the mail at the inn for monster wanted posters. You enter the mailroom at the inn. A plump man with a balding head and a thick curly black mustache greets you. Hello, he says. What can I do for you? Ask the man his name. Like, ask the man for his name. Because I didn't know there was a mailroom guy. There's now a mailroom guy. There's now a mailroom. I don't remember ever having to go to a mailroom before. I always thought it was just like a mailbox in the inn. The name, sir? I am Robert Crothburn, he says, in a heavy Eakstorian accent. You look at the wanted posters. $5,000 reward. Werewolf. Last seen in Rask. It tried to do like a list thing, and then it didn't complete the list. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep where he like tells me his name, and then I'm going to get rid of the rest of it. Okay, cool. I'm going to look at the wanted posters that the Monster Hunter Guild has received in the mail. Because I pretty much just wanted to know who the mailroom guy was. Just so that later when I update the world info, I'll be like, he works in the mailroom. The first wanted poster is of a simpleton. He is a bald fat man with a giant brown beard. The second wanted poster is of a red-skinned, pointy-eared, young-looking girl. She appears to be in her late teens or early 20s. I'm going to look for a monster wanted poster, or I guess for the monster wanted poster with the highest bounty. I want a monster specifically, and I want it to be like the one that they want the most. So that we can get big money. We got a lot of monster hunters in the guild. You find the monster wanted poster with the highest bounty. The most wanted is also the oldest. It's of a middle-aged man, balding, with a long, thin beard. He looks to be in his 50s or 60s. Okay? Check to see what kind of monster has the highest bounty. Yeah, because it says it's a middle-aged man. And I'm like, monster wanted poster, please. It needs to be a monster. The most wanted monster is a vampire. It's of a middle-aged man, balding with a long, thin beard. He looks to be in his 50s or 60s. The most recent poster says reward, Victor the Vampire, alive, 50,000. Okay. It says $50,000. I'm probably going to change that to like 50,000 like gold coins or whatever. So 50,000 gold coins. Or just 50,000 gold. You don't really have to say gold coins. Okay. So it's a middle-aged vampire named Victor the Vampire. So I'm going to check to see how much the bounty is for Victor the Vampire if he is brought in dead. Alive, it's 50,000 gold. But we normally kill our bounties. So is it going to be less? Oh, dead is like 10,000 gold. Interesting. I'm going to edit it. Like, cut this part down. And then instead of it saying the most recent poster, just have it say the poster says reward, Victor the Vampire, dead, 10,000 gold. So it's like a fifth of the thing. So we have to figure out how we're going to bring in a vampire alive if we want to get the full reward. Dang. Okay. I'm going to go to Big Cayman's office and ask him to write a report on Victor the Vampire's common locations, weaknesses, and powers. Big Cayman looks up at you. What can I do for you, Zana? Big Cayman asks. Why does everybody think I'm Zana? I'm not Zana. You tell Big Cayman that you want him to write a report on the most recent wanted poster for Victor the Vampire. Let's see, and then it says, that's a lot of information. So I'm going to change it to where it says Jet Starlight. So I'm going to say, I believe in you. You've got this. I need the report to include Victor the vampire's common locations, weaknesses, and powers. Come on, Big Cayman. Alright, Big Cayman says, give me a few minutes. Big Cayman goes to work. He finishes the report quickly. There you go, he says, handing you the report. I hope this helps you in the quest to catch Victor. Thank you, Big Cayman. I appreciate your help. No problem, Big Cayman says. Tell me if you need anything else. You leave Big Cayman's office. You head outside. It's nighttime. You go to the top of the hill and look around. Okay, so I'm going to go back and edit out the part where it says you head outside, it's nighttime, so that it just is like, no problem, Big Cayman says. Tell me if you need anything else. You leave Big Cayman's office. Because I'm fine with that part. Now I'm going to go to Bartleby and, well, actually, no, before I go to Bartleby, I need to read the report on Victor the vampire to learn his common locations, powers, and weaknesses. Okay, and let's see what the AI generates. Victor the Vampire is one of 4 super vampires who rules over the region south of the Zalan Empire. He is a middle-aged man with a thin mustache and goatee. He wears red clothing and has long curly black hair. Okay, you read a section of the report titled Weaknesses. Because it didn't tell me his, I guess I know his common locations. He rules over, like, the area south of the Zalan Empire. So that's probably where we're going to find him, is south of the Zalan Empire. Let's see. So, I kind of like how I've been doing the story summary updates so far, because I'll say what I just did, and then I'll say what I'm currently doing. So you just got a report from Big Cayman about Victor the Vampire's powers, weaknesses, and common locations. You are reading the report. Okay, let's see. Victor the Vampire's greatest weaknesses are his overconfidence and his desire for starving off death. He has walked this earth for centuries, slowly becoming more attached to it as the decades wore on. Interesting. So he's overconfident and he's afraid of dying. Those are real weaknesses, but I'm trying to figure out how to best exploit said weaknesses. I'm going to read the section of the report titled Powers. He's a super vampire, and there are 4 super vampires. That's actually a really interesting lore bit. Victor the Vampire is immortal and unkillable so long as he feeds on the blood of humans. He can transform into a cloud of bats or a cloud of mist and can command hordes of rats. So unkillable, immortal doesn't really matter because we have God Killer gloves. Because we literally just killed an immortal like last episode. The only issue is that we're trying not to kill him because he has like a really big bounty. So we can't, like, we don't want to kill him, which sucks. So we can't kill him. We have shapeshifter's pills, which Tanya made last episode. So we can just give him a shapeshifter's pill and then he won't be able to transform into a cloud of bats anymore or a cloud of mist. Him commanding hordes of rats. I actually don't know what to do about that. We don't have a thing for just no rats, like just keeping rats away. So I'm going to visit Tanya and ask her to create rat repellent potions for every member of the guild. Or just just ask her to create rat repellent potions. Because that's the biggest thing. We just need to be able to, like, repel rats. Make it where if he commands rats to come, they won't come. Let's see. You arrive at Tanya's office. Her pet human, Forrest, is there. He's tied to a chair. Hey, name, he says excitedly. Tanya just threatened to rip my heart out and eat it if I didn't type up a schedule for her. Don't know where the story's trying to go? Hit up that retry. Her pet human. Tanya's human. You want me to what? Tanya says when you ask her to create rat repellent potions. We are getting ready to hunt Victor the vampire. Victor has the power to command hordes of rats. If we have rat repellent potion, then we could use it to keep away the rats while fighting Victor. Yeah, we just need to prevent Victor from being able to, like, summon hordes of rats. Because that would just suck. You do have a point, Tanya says. Tanya spends about an hour gathering the materials she needs to make the potions. Tell me when the potions are ready, and I'll have them distributed to everyone, you say. Got it. Okay. So now I'm going to, visit Bartleby and ask him to create restraints that would prevent Victor the vampire from using his powers. We pretty much just need something that we can use to actually, like, take Victor back, like, to the guild's monster awareness division. There we go. I had to remember what it was called. Let's see. An undead vampire with several hundred years of experience and abilities ranging from turning himself to mist or a cloud of bats to transforming into a wolf or a swarm of rats. Oh, and did I mention he can't die, you say? Nevermore, Nevermore says. Who's Nevermore? And why is it that I gave him so many additional powers that he didn't have before? Retry. Because I don't know why it was like Nevermore, Nevermore. Sure, I'll get right on that, you say. Bartleby spends a couple of hours over the next few weeks working on the task you gave him. Here you are, sir, he says when he's finished. So instead of me saying that, Bartleby should say, sure, I'll get right on that. Because he's the one who's doing the task. You make sure I mean, we don't really need more than one of these restraints, I guess. So that's fine. So now I guess I'm going to visit John Crenshaw and ask if he has finished building an automaton. Building a magical automaton. I have a completed automaton, but it was very difficult to build, he says. It took a lot of metal. We'll get more metal, you say. What can it do? It has multiple heads that can shoot fire, bullets, and acid. Ooh, nice work. We'll use this automaton. Well, I guess I'll say, ooh, nice work. What do you call this automaton? Oh, I forgot to ask Bartleby the name of his restraints. This is the Destroyer, he says. Let's see. I have to update the story summary context real quick. So, you just received special restraints designed to depower Victor the vampire from Bartleby. You are now talking with John Crenshaw about his latest automaton. This is the Destroyer, he says. Perfect. This will work really well. How soon can you get this to us? I can have it to you by next week. You nod. Thanks, John. You're a lifesaver. What do you mean he can get it to us by next week? He's here. The automaton is also here. This is... I'm gonna edit that part out because I feel like that doesn't make any sense. Because he's like, I finished it. Here it is. When can I get it to you? Next week. So I'm just gonna say, perfect, this will work really well. And I'm just gonna say like, thank you. I'm also going to say, no, I guess I don't really have anything else to say. I'm going to check on Tanya to see if she has finished creating the rat repellent potion. Tanya hands you a vial of green liquid. This is the last one, she says. You look it over and give it a sniff. It seems fine. Thanks, Tanya. This will really help. Okay, cool. I'm going to ask Tanya, what is the name of the rat repellent potion? I also need to go back to Bartleby and ask what are the names of the restraints that he made for Victor the Vampire. It's called Ratus Exterminatus, Tanya says. Perfect. I'll have someone distribute it to everyone. Thanks. And then it says you'll leave to find Jake. Nope, I'm not leaving to find Jake, so I'm going to get rid of that last part. So now I'm going to go to Bartleby, and I'm going to ask him for the name of the restraints he created for Victor the Vampire. Because I want to know what those are called for the world info as well. They're called manacles, he says. I had to go through a lot of trial and error to get them right. Why is that, you ask? He said, I tried to make some for every occasion, but it turns out I only needed one pair, he says. He just called them manacles. So I guess I'm gonna ask Bartleby, how do the restraints work in order to prevent Victor from using his abilities? Like what do the restraints actually do to prevent Victor from using his powers? Bartleby explains that the manacles prevent Victor from using his abilities. They're made of a rare material that prevents anything magical from happening while they're worn, he says. Oh, wow. I'm going to ask Bartleby, what is the name of the material that the restraints are made out of? I guess of the rare material that the restraints are made out of. That's cool. There's just straight up like magic negating metal. It's called dragon bone, he says. Where do you get this stuff, you ask? You don't want to know, he says. Chapter 3, Rat in a Trap. The week passes and your army is prepared for combat. So I'm going to get rid of the part that says Chapter 3, Rat in a Trap. That is interesting. I think that's a clever name, I guess. Because Victor is all about his rats. I'm going to say, do you think a good name for your restraints, like a good name for these special restraints you've created, would be dragon bone manacles? Because I think just calling them manacles is very plain. They're not just normal manacles. Good one, he says. The pair of you laugh for a bit, and you continue to gather the equipment you'll need for your mission. You gather everything you need within the hour. Let's see. So now I have to update the story summary. You have all the equipment you'll need for the hunt. You'll need for the monster hunt. You are getting ready to call together every member of the Monster Hunter Guild to train against an illusion of okay, just go back. You don't have to say you have all the equipment. You are getting ready to gather every member of the Monster Hunter Guild to train against an illusion of Victor the Vampire created by Eliza. Here we go. So I'm going to gather every member of the Monster Hunter Guild to train against an illusion of Victor the Vampire created by Eliza. Next, you and the group go to the city of Linnet, which is currently under attack by Victor the Vampire. Zana sends a message to the king, who happens to be her uncle. So hold on. I don't want to skip the training exercise. I actually want to do the training thing, because it gets us ready for like the real fight. You and the rest of the monster hunters gather in the main hall. You tell everyone to pair up and to practice everything you've learned so far, as well as practice throwing weapons while working with your partner. Then you call Eliza forward. That's not quite what I want to do. Like, we're trying to fight the illusion. Set it up. I'm going to retry it again. I want it to be where we fight the illusion. You gather all the hunters you can find within Fort Destiny. The members consist of guild members, their friends, their lovers, and pretty much anyone they come in contact with, each of them carrying some sort of weapon. Too much. Not trying to get literally everybody, like, ever. I just want the Monster Hunter Guild members. I just want everybody in the guild, and we're going to fight an illusion of Victor the Vampire. You gather every member of the guild who has been on at least one mission and meet them in the large hall. You gather every member of the guild to train against an illusion of Victor the Vampire created by Eliza. I'm going to get rid of the first sentence. It seems redundant. I mean, technically, the second sentence is also redundant. It's just the thing that we said before. So I'm going to ask Eliza to create an illusion of Victor the Vampire and to create illusions of rat repellent potion and dragon bone manacles. Because that's pretty much what we need. You ask Eliza to create an illusion of Victor the Vampire, illusions of rat repellent potions, and illusions of dragon bone manacles. Okay, so besides the restraints and the potions, what else do we have for equipment, you ask? I feel like Eliza would ask that, and then I would say just the usual. Like, it's nothing crazier than that. Okay. Wait for Eliza to summon the requested illusions and instruct your fellow Monster Hunter Guild members to grab the illusion gear in preparation for the battle. Just say to grab the illusion gear. Just say to grab the illusion gear. You don't have to, like, make it super long. You wait for Eliza to summon the requested illusions and instruct your fellow Monster Hunter Guild members to grab the illusion gear. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do is throw down a vial of... Oh, I forgot to ask her to make illusions of the shapeshifter pills. Hold on. Ask Eliza to create illusions of shapeshifters pills. Because we'll need that too. I almost completely forgot about that. The pill is extremely bitter and usually causes people to vomit upon consumption. However, if one manages to keep the pill down, it will cause the consumer to lose their shape-shifting abilities for a limited time. Interesting. I didn't realize that, like, if they could just throw up and then just not work. That kind of sucks. But okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do, command Zana to teleport an illusion of the shapeshifter's pills into the body of the illusion of Victor the Vampire. Because we want to stop Victor the Vampire from being able to shapeshift. When Eliza asked if we needed any more gear, I should have just said the shapeshifter's pills. I wasn't thinking about it. Zana teleports the illusion pill into the body of the Vampire Lord's illusion. Whoa, Zana says, as she watches him transform into a rat, then a cute kitten, then a fish, then he turns back into his normal self. Awesome. So then I'm going to thank Zana . as you throw down an illusion of rat repellent potion. Covering the area in the substance. Because I want to make sure that, the vampire begins to gag and then gasp. I can't breathe. Victor falls down to the ground as he begins to turn purple. You check his pulse and make sure he's dead. What? No, that doesn't make sense. He can't die. He's immortal. Like, the only thing that should be able to kill him is like a god killer glove. So the rat repellent potion couldn't possibly kill him. Wouldn't we all die? We would all die if it was something strong enough to kill an immortal. Let's see. You and your fellow monster hunter guild members are training against an illusion of Victor the Vampire. That doesn't make sense. Victor the Vampire is immortal, meaning the only thing that should be able to kill him, are god killer gloves. Actually, the only thing that can kill him are a few specific weapons, Zana corrects. The guildmaster told me. Oh, right, you say, remembering the conversation you had with Lucy a while back. You return to Castle O'Brien. Nope. No, you're not gonna retcon that, like, rat repellent, but he's immortal, except for a few special things, like rat repellent potion. Let me jump back 2 steps. So I'm gonna revert. I'm going to go back to the one where I think Zana, and then I throw the rat repellent potion onto the ground. I'm just going to retry that one. Because he shouldn't have, like, gagged. You watch as the Vampire Lord begins, well, freaking out is an understatement. The monster has gone berserk, clawing at his eyes, shrieking, and trying to find a way to get out of the dragon bone manacles. You alright? Zana asks you, concerned. Hold on. We haven't put the manacles on him yet. It's skipping ahead. We need to put on the manacles, but I wanted to throw down the potion first. Victor the Vampire screams as he is covered in the potion. What did you just do, he asks. That was some strong stuff. The Vampire Lord writhes on the ground as he is bombarded by flying bugs for a bit. What? Where did the bugs come from? Does the rat repellent potion attract bugs? that just sounds... That's good to know, I guess. We didn't know that before. You're a pretty smart girl. You give yourself an internal high five. What? However, I don't think you've quite figured out the lesson just yet. The Vampire Lord rises from the ground and bursts out into a fit of laughter. What? I don't know who says you're a pretty smart girl. What? What? I guess I'm going to change it to you're a pretty smart guy. You give yourself an internal high five. However, I don't think you've quite figured out the lesson just yet. So I think what I'm going to do is start attributing this to people. So you're a pretty smart guy, says Victor the vampire. So like he says that. And then he'll say, however, I don't think you've quite figured out the lesson just yet. So he'll say both things. Giving yourself an internal high five is kind of campy. But whatever, I'll keep it. It's just like a silly line. I mean, I don't really care if Homeboy's laughing. So I'm going to command the destroyer to distract Victor the vampire because now he can't shapeshift and rats won't come anywhere near the area. You command the destroyer to attack the vampire lord. What? Don't you feel sorry for me, you little worm? Says Victor the vampire. I could kill you with one swift movement. The vampire lord begins to turn into a flock of bats. We gave him the shapeshifter's pill. He can't shapeshift into shit. That is not a thing. You throw a silver cross at the vampire lord, hitting I just retried, by the way. You throw a silver cross at the vampire lord, hitting him in the head. The cross doesn't hurt him, but it buys you enough time to hold up your cell phone and say, Zana, what's your position? Nope. Retry again. I'm specifically trying to command the destroyer. How's the AI doing? I'm going to say not so great right now. The destroyer crashes through the ceiling and onto the vampire lord. The ceiling? Are we indoors? Now we gotta fix the fucking ceiling. Why did he do that? The force of the impact causes dust and debris to fall from the ceiling. The vampire's lord laugh quickly changes into a scream as his body is crushed by the devil beast. Sadly, the destroyer is also hurt by this attack. What? What? No. Come on. Restrain the illusion of Victor the vampire using the dragon bone manacles. I like that it's like he crashes through the ceiling. It's like, oh my gosh. You quickly restrain the illusion of Victor the vampire with the dragon bone manacles. You then proceed to repeatedly hit him in the face with a piece of hardwood. You feel slightly better after this. However, the illusion changes from that of Victor's face to that of your father's. I don't even know who my father is, like in this game, so that doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to use element type shifting to repair the destroyer. I like how he crashes through the ceiling and fucking crushes Victor the vampire. You rapidly shift between the elements while the destroyer slowly regenerates itself from the rat repellent potion. That's not what it was hurt by. After several minutes, the destroyer is completely restored. The rat repellent potion wears off and the rats scatter. The vampire lord lets out a sigh of relief. Real quick, all the rat repellent potion stuff I'm gonna get rid of. So get rid of that. Right there where it says and regenerates itself. After several minutes, the destroyer is completely restored. So I'm curious what's going on. It's like I'm trying to shift the elements of the destroyer to help mend it. And while I'm doing that, it's somehow helping the destroyer regenerate its own body. So I guess I'm gonna ask John Crenshaw if I guess I should change it to say, John Crenshaw, do I need to use element type shifting to repair the destroyer? Or shall I say, did I need to use element type shifting to repair the destroyer? Or did the destroyer just repair itself? Because I couldn't tell based on the way it was described. Like, I thought I needed to repair it, but it seems like it can just fix itself. You need to use type shifting to repair the destroyer. As you can see, the destroyer's own regenerative abilities are quite slow. Oh, so it's like I'm helping him regenerate. That's cool. I dig that. It seemed like the destroyer was hurt by the fall. Maybe they were trying to imply that it was hurt by the potion, but I didn't interpret it that way, and I've edited out all the parts where it mentioned the potion. It just sounded like he crashed through the ceiling, like very unnecessarily, and then it like hurt him. But he can regenerate, and we can also just heal it with elemental type shifting, so that doesn't matter. So I've learned a lot from this exercise. Let's do this training exercise again. I have another idea for how to approach the situation. Because it seemed like the destroyer was able to, like, fairly easily just crush the dude. Sure thing, kid. I'm sure you want to do another one right now. We need to wrap up for the day. We can continue the training routine tomorrow. As your training day comes to an end, you head back to your room in the barracks and quickly fall asleep. I'm going to change it from in the barracks to in the inn. And quickly fall asleep. Okay. So, I guess everybody was too tired to do like another training thing. So, I'm going to wake up and go eat breakfast with the rest of the Monster Hunter Guild. I'm hyped because I think I know a way to like quickly like get the dude. You wake up well rested and eat breakfast with the rest of the Monster Hunter Guild. After breakfast, you head to your first class. You have an important job for today. Your grade in Professor Ferriman's Monster Zoology 101 course depends on it. We're going to edit out all that last part. I'm going to say not so great still. Okay, so There we go. So now, well, I gotta wait for it to finish loading, I think. There we go. So after breakfast, I'm gonna gather all of the members of the Monster Hunter Guild together to train against an illusion of Victor the Vampire while using illusions of our gear. While using illusions of gear. I know we already did this, but it makes sense for us to do it again. You spend the entire day training with the rest of the monster hunters. Okay. So I'm going to command Zana to teleport an illusion of shapeshifter's pill. I can... I feel like that's not the best way to start. Like, that's how we started last time. Command Lucy to use her telekinesis to immobilize... I always spell immobilize wrong. To immobilize Victor the Vampire. Or the illusion of Victor the Vampire. Because if he can't move, it doesn't really matter as much that he can't teleport. Like, I might have made it too difficult thinking about all the ways to, like, stop him. Lucy uses her power to immobilize the illusion of Victor, but since it's an illusion, it disappears. Lucy tries to catch it, but it vanishes before she can touch it. Shit, Lucy shouts. It's gone. Retry? Like, because we've done this kind of thing before. You spend the entire day training with the rest of the monster hunters. You command Lucy to use her telekinesis to immobilize the illusion of Victor the Vampire. You spend the entire day training with the rest of the monster hunters. It's getting repetitive, so I'm going to retry it. You command Lucy to use her telekinesis to immobilize the illusion of Victor the Vampire. She attempts to do so, but fails as she is unable to concentrate due to the illusions you have created of her family. Didn't create any illusions of her family. Retry that. Bop, bop, bop. It tried to do that earlier with the, like, it changes into an illusion of your father thing. I don't know what it's doing, because Eliza would have to be the one doing that. You watch as Lucy struggles to keep the illusion of Victor the Vampire still. She struggles with the battle for a good minute before she tires out and has to stop. Okay, so we can't rely on Lucy being able to do that. Like, in the real fight, Lucy may not be able to handle it. So use hydrokinetic healing salve to restore Lucy's energy. Or I guess to restore Lucy's power. Okay. I like to have Lucy do that a lot of times in fights, and I realize I didn't do it last time we trained. But it seems like Victor is like a super vampire or whatever, so it's difficult for her to do that. You apply the salve to Lucy's forehead and watch as her powers return. You order Lucy to cast the illusion of gear to distract Victor the Vampire. While he is distracted, you surround him with the rest of the hunters and attack him from all sides. I don't want to get puppeted by the game, so I'm going to get rid of the second line. Plus, Lucy doesn't create illusions, so the second line didn't make any sense. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. We know that the Lucy restraint thing doesn't work. So now I'm going to use hydrokinesis to trap Victor the Vampire in a bubble of water and freeze the bubble solid using element type shifting. You watch as the battle takes a turn, and Lucy traps the vampire in a bubble of water. Then you direct the water to freeze solid. Nice job, Lucy, you cheer. You notice that it is getting late and decide to head to bed. Okay. That kind of can work. And Lucy uses telekinesis, because she could technically do that, to trap the vampire in a bubble of water. Okay, so now we've done two different training exercises against Victor the Vampire, and it does seem like we could beat him fairly easily just by freezing him. Like, we don't have to force him to eat the shapeshifter's pill and use the rat repellent potion and like put the special restraints on him. We could just freeze him, and it seems like that would work just as effectively. Okay. So now I'm going to wake up. and eat breakfast with the rest of the Monster Hunter Guild. If we could have the shapeshifter pill made into a bullet, we could shoot Victor the Vampire with the bullet, like using the destroyer, because the destroyer's heads can shoot bullets. So you shoot him with the bullet. Now the shapeshifter's pill is like already in his body. So he's like, I can't shapeshift, kind of thing. You know, there are a lot of different ways we can approach the situation, but I think the hydrokinesis one might be the fastest way. You feel ready to hunt down Victor the Vampire. You wake up the next morning and head to the dining room to eat breakfast with the rest of the monster hunters. Good morning, sunshine, Zana says when you walk in. You take a seat and one of the cooks hands you a plate of bacon and eggs. Thank the cook and begin eating. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I know how we're going to take down Victor the Vampire. We've done 2 different training sessions, and I feel very confident. You eat your breakfast and then head outside with the rest of the monster hunters. Okay. I'm going to command Big Camid to take all of the Monster Hunter Guild onto his boat and to sail to the south of the Zaylan Empire, if I'm remembering from like earlier on in the story when we learned the common locations of Victor the Vampire. Oh, I spelled Zaylan wrong. But yeah. So we're going to go to the south of the Zaylan Empire so that we can get to Victor the Vampire. You decide that it's better to leave the region. No point in fighting and potentially getting everyone killed. Everyone, get to Big Camid's ship. We're leaving, you command. What? We're not done fighting, Baron protests. I'm not doing it to leave. I'm doing it to claim the bounty. Retry. You, Zana, and the rest of the monster hunters are approached by a large orc by the name of Big Camid. He is a friendly sort and has a boat that he built himself. He says that he would be happy to take you wherever you wish to go. Big Camid, as far as I'm aware, isn't an orc. Big Camid has been in multiple episodes so far, and he's the brother of the cook. Captain Big Camid, I have an order for you. What? How did you get out of your cell? Camid asked. Why is it so confused about who Big Camid is? He's in the world info. I'm going to retry it again. They keep like changing his character every time I try to do this action. You take charge and order Big Camid to sail south. What are you doing? Captain Eckhard asked. Who? We're not trying to fight them. We're utterly defenseless against them, and we need to retreat. Captain Eckhard becomes infuriated. Hold on. It's like misinterpreting the instruction. Okay. I'm going to command the Monster Hunter Guild. Like, command your fellow member. You have to be really specific. Command your fellow Monster Hunter Guild members to get on Big Camid's boat and to bring shapeshifter's pills, rat repellent potion, and dragon bone manacles with them. Because we're getting ready to do the hunt. So we need all of those things. You lead the group of monster hunters toward the abandoned dock. You walk down to a worn-down dirt path until you see the abandoned dock. That's it, Big Camid says. You nod and continue leading your group towards the dock. Okay. So, Make sure that everyone is on board with all the gear needed for today's monster hunt. You walk around the group and make sure that everyone has everything they need. You look at the team and realize that this will be a tough fight. You're confident in your abilities, but you wonder about everyone else. I feel confident in the team as well. Okay, I'm going to command Big Kamid to sail the ship to the south of the Zalan Empire, so that the hunt for Victor the Vampire may begin. We've done 2 training simulations. We have all the gear we need. We're ready for action. Big Kamid, please sail the ship to the south, you say. Yes, sir, Big Kamid replies, and begins to captain the ship. You walk off and begin to look out at the open sea from the side of the boat. Zana walks over to you. I don't like the... Well, I guess it says you walk off. That doesn't mean you walk off the boat. For a minute, I felt weird. I thought it meant I left the boat. That's fine. Yeah, I'll look at the open sea. That sounds cool. Zana walks over to you. I'm going to say, hello, Zana. Are you excited for today's monster hunt? We've done 2 training exercises already. So I think it should be fairly easy to take down Victor the Vampire. Because we've practiced like 2 different battle strategies. And we have a robot. Hello, Zana says as she sits down next to you. She looks out at the open sea. Yes, I'm excited for today's hunt. It'll be challenging, but I think we'll be able to pull it off with our abilities, Zana says. Let's see. I'm going to smile at Zana. And then afterwards I'm going to check to see if we've arrived in the south yet. Like in the southern region of the Zalan Empire. You put your hand on Zana's and say, I'm looking forward to the hunt as well. Zana smiles back at you and you sit together, staring out at the open sea. So let's see. You and your fellow Monster Hunter Guild members are headed to the southern region of the Zalan Empire on a hunt for Victor the Vampire. I'm going to check to see if the ship has arrived in the southern region of the Zalan Empire. As you look out to the south, you spot a large patch of land. This would be where the Zalan Empire's southernmost border ends, and where your mission begins. You arrive at the southern port town on the edge of the Zalan Empire. Right now it's doing okay. So let's see. I'm going to command Zana to cast a locator spell to track down Victor the Vampire. Zana closes her eyes and begins to chant. A blue cloud appears in front of her, and it begins to form into a shape. The shape formed is that of a demon, but smaller and weaker-looking versions circle the larger one. Okay? Cool. Follow the blue demon to the location of Victor the Vampire. I guess I should say, like, lead your fellow Monster Hunter Guild members as you follow the blue demon to the location of Victor the Vampire. It seems like freezing him solid is like the fastest thing. Following the blue demon, you arrive at a house. The house looks like it's falling apart. The blue demon disappears into the house. "Hey, who are you?" a voice calls out from inside the house. Let's see. You instruct your fellow Monster Hunter Guild members to get ready. To get ready for battle. Like, it's possible that the person in that house is just Victor the Vampire. "Let's do this, people," you say. You enter the house with your comrades. Inside the house is a man sitting in a chair reading a book. The man looks up from his book and stares at you. Check to see if the man is Victor the Vampire. If it is, then we should be able to just goot him. He seems to just be chilling. "Do I know you?" the man asks. "You all look familiar." Zana looks at the man suspiciously. "Hey, you're Victor the Vampire, aren't you?" she asks accusingly. The man looks worried and stands up slowly. Ask Big Cayman to verify if the man is Victor the Vampire. You ask Cayman to come over to you. He says something to the man, then walks over to you. "Yes?" Big Cayman asks. What? What? Why would he ask that? Also have to update the story context. You and your fellow Monster Hunter Guild members are in the southern region of the Zalian Empire on a hunt for Victor the Vampire. I need to correct where it said Cayman and make it say Big Cayman. He says something to the man and then he walks over to you. Big Cayman. Is that man Victor the Vampire? Just be straight with us so that we can take this dude down. No, the real Victor the Vampire is sitting right in front of you, Cayman replies sarcastically as he punches you in the face. What? You fall to the floor. You stand back up and lift up your visor. What? Why are you here? Cayman asks. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm trying to do like a weird twist thing, and it's got me all fucked up because I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening anymore. Also, change all the Cayman instances to Big Cayman. Okay, so here's where I say, Victor the Vampire must have shapeshifted. Zana, teleport a shapeshifter's pill into Victor, into the Big Cayman punched me. That one is that punched me because he is actually Victor the vampire. It's interesting. I don't care, Zana yells, throwing a blue pill at Big Cayman's feet. Big Cayman picks it up. What's this, he asks. It's a shapeshifting pill, he looks like. What the fuck? Why would you throw it at his feet? Why would you throw it at his feet? You had to teleport it into his body. What's happening? I'm not sure if I should go back like a few steps. It's like the locator spell was like, hey, go in the house. And then the man's in the house. And then Big Cayman walks up to the man and he walks back. Technically, Victor the vampire shouldn't be able to shapeshift into other people. I'm going to revert back a few steps. I was going with it for a bit, but he's only supposed to be able to shapeshift into like bats and like a cloud of mist or whatever. So I'm going to go back. I guess go back to where the man started looking worried. And then I'm going to do something different from what I did before. I'm going to say, are you Victor the vampire? I'm just going to be really straightforward. Yes, the man says. You're under arrest for being a blood-sucking leech, you say. The man runs into a back room of his house. You and your companions follow him into the room, but he is nowhere to be found. He can shapeshift into a cloud of mist or a swarm of bats. We need to be on the lookout for both. So you figured out my little secret, I say. I can shapeshift into a cloud of mist or a swarm of bats. Now you're going to have to pay for knowing that. And then it says you draw your sword and attack the vampire. I'm going to get rid of the part where it says you draw your sword and attack the vampire. And I'm going to make it say Victor the vampire says. Because that makes more sense for him to say. Because that does sound like a cool line for him to say. Also, this is interesting. When you have the monster run away, it's a thing where we just can't beat it. So I like that we end up with like 3 really different fights. We did the first training exercise, the second training exercise, but then when we actually fought him, he's not trying to fight us. He's trying to like run away or whatever. Return to your normal form and face us. I'm just going to see if that works. If that works, he's dumb. He's really dumb. And we're about to goot him. Victor the vampire turns back to his normal human form. Oh, we're about to goot that ass. You've gotten too close to me, he says. I can't afford to let you ruin my plans. Suddenly, Victor the Venom's eyes glaze over and stare past you. It means Victor the Vampire's, which I will correct now. I don't know what he's doing. So, I've tried using hydrokinesis to force someone to, like, consume a shapeshifter's pill in the past, and it didn't work. Zana teleporting it into someone's stomach has always been the best move. But earlier when I tried to do that and the AI was being weird, she just threw it at his feet and said that she didn't care. Which is fucking weird. So I'm just going to attempt to throw a shapeshifter's pill down Victor the vampire's throat. I'm not even going to use a power or anything. Just throw it. Just fucking throw it into his mouth. And just prevent him. You definitely pick up a pill that Zana gave you and attempt to shove it into Victor's mouth. He catches your hand. The pill falls to the floor. Zana casts a bolt of ice at his face, but it misses and hits the wall. Okay, shit. So I'm going to command Zana to teleport the shapeshifter's pill into Victor the vampire's stomach to prevent Victor the vampire from shapeshifting. I never tried just to throw it in his mouth, so I wanted to see how well that would work. Come on, just like we practiced, Zana. We've already, trained this. Zana, teleport that pill into his stomach, you yell. Okay. While she's trying to do that, I'm going to command the destroyer to pin down Victor the vampire. Because that worked before. If he can't shapeshift and he's pinned down, we kind of have him. The destroyer pins down Victor the vampire before he can turn into a cloud of mist or a swarm of bats. You and your companions grab the shapeshifter pill that Zana gave you earlier, you put it in the center of your friend's chest and start chanting. I don't know why we would do that last part. I'm glad that the destroyer was able to pin Victor the vampire down before he was able to shapeshift again. Okay. Now, Zana, while Victor the vampire is immobilized, teleport a shapeshifter's pill into his stomach. We gotta just make sure that he doesn't fuck us over. Zana picks up the pill and puts it into Victor. She just doesn't teleport it. Perfect, you say. Let's go. You, Zana the Destroyer, and 2 goblins leave the house. I'm going to change that and 2 goblins leave the house part. It seems like he's almost restrained. We still have to put the dragon bone manacles on him. Let's see. You and your fellow monster... Well, hold on. Control Z. You and your fellow Monster Hunter Guild members are in the southern region of the Zaylan Empire fighting Victor the Vampire. I just updated the story summary. Okay, so I'm going to edit that last move. So perfect, you say, is the last part that I'm going to keep from that last move. So now it's Zana picks up the pill and puts it in Victor's mouth, and I'm just going to say perfect. I like how she's like, I don't really have to teleport anything because he can't move. It's not like the teleporting thing is only when you would normally miss, but we're not going to miss in this situation. Okay. So now I'm going to command... No, I don't have to command anybody to do this. Put the dragon bone manacles on Victor the Vampire. You put the manacles given to you by Randy the Ribcracker on Victor's wrist. I got him from Bartleby, but Randy the Ribcracker is an interesting name. Victor the Vampire begins to scream as his flesh burns. You feel your ears begin to bleed. There's no escape, you yell. Damn. He screams so loud your ears bleed is something that probably should have been on the powers list. given to you by Bartleby. I'll just correct where the AI had made up a new character. I'm going to knock Victor the vampire unconscious with a haymaker. I just want him to stop fucking screaming. I'd rather not have my ears bleed. You swing your fist at his chin. His head snaps back and he loses consciousness. The man is dead. Damn. He's not coming back to life anytime soon. You stare at the bodies of your fallen friends and think about the next step. You have a lot of work to do. Nobody died. Nobody died. It's like over-exaggerating the thing. I'm like, do I want to alter or do I want to retry? I could alter and just get rid of the last part where it's like your fallen friends and then try and revive him by giving him some of my blood. I could retry and then just see what it does. I'm going to retry instead of alter. Zana casts an ice javelin in Victor the vampire's chest. He screams. He's unconscious, she says. We need to interrogate him to find out what this plan is. I don't really care too much about Victor's plan. The Monster Awareness Division wants Victor turned in alive. He can't use his powers due to the manacles. So we should be able to take him back to the Monster Awareness Division and claim the bounty. This did not go anything like the two training things, which is interesting, because now we have 3 totally different fights, 2 training missions, and then 1 real mission. Yes, let's do that, Zana says. You throw a rope out the window. Zana ties Victor to the rope. You lower him down the building. The 3 of you head back to the tavern. The monsters have left. I think they went this way. So I'm going to get rid of everything after Zana says, yes, let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to take the unconscious Victor the vampire back to the ship. Well, I guess I should say you and your fellow Monster Hunter guild members take Victor the vampire to the Monster Awareness Division to claim the bounty. That's pretty much what we were going to do anyway. Like, we were going to take him to the ship, and then we'd ride on the boat, and we'd go back to the Monster Awareness Division, and then we'd drop them off. It's like, we'll just do that as an action, because not a lot happens during that. You, Zana, and the Destroyer take the vampire to the courtyard of the Monster Hunter Guild. A carriage comes and picks you up. It brings you to a luxurious but tasteful building in the heart of the city. The carriage stops, and you get out. The carriage doors open. I don't know what it's trying to do. We're not going to the Monster Hunter Guild. We are the Monster Hunter Guild. We're going to the Monster Awareness Division. I'm going to hit retry on that. 1 week later, you are in an office. You are sitting across a desk from a middle-aged balding man with a beard who's wearing a black robe. On his robe is a silver pentagram surrounded by a circle. He's looking at you over his glasses. Don't know why it'd be a week later. Retry. It's kind of creating like a totally different scene. The next day, you enter the conference room at the Monster Hunter Guild headquarters. Sitting at the head of the table is a large muscular pig man wearing armor decorated with bone necklaces. Don't know why we time skip. Just let us go and claim the bounty. Like, let us just do the action game. Your entire group of monster hunters, including Zana and Junior, leap out of the carriage. What carriage? You enter the building and walk around, and you walk towards a large oak door. A muscular man stands next to the oak door. Who are you? Asked the man. What? Who's Junior? What carriage? Do you and your fellow monster hunters take Victor the Vampire back to the Monster Awareness Division? Hey, the mayor of Yilbov, a small town in the non-United Nations in Eastern Europe, has hired the three of you to kill a vampire living in a nearby cave. What? So we got a new mission? We get hired to do a thing? And why just the three of us? Like all of us went back to the division. Retry again. That one was close. We're getting close to what we want. You and your fellow guild members take Victor the Vampire to the headquarters of the Monster Awareness Division, a government agency that monitors supernatural activity. That's true. That is what it's for. Okay, so I'm going to claim the bounty on Victor the Vampire and split it among the members of the Monster Hunter Guild. You and your fellow guild members take Victor the Vampire to the headquarters of the Monster Awareness Division, a government agency that monitors supernatural activity. The bounty for capturing a vampire is an impressive number of diamonds. You each share it. You are now very, very rich. Interesting. So, originally we were going to get 50,000 gold, but it's like we were spent... It's like you were given 50,000 gold worth of diamonds, which is kind of cool. I'm going to get rid of the line where it pretty much repeats what the Monster Awareness Division is. It doesn't have to say that again. And instead of just saying an impressive number of diamonds, since we know the amount, we can just say the bounty for capturing Victor the Vampire is 50,000 gold worth of diamonds. Is 50,000 gold worth of diamonds. Okay, so we recruited a new member to the team. We now have a robot on the team who helped us in like our first mission. We did 2 like training missions to prepare. We got new equipment, and we took in our first live bounty, because every other time we like kill whoever we were facing off against. So I think that's good. I think the only other thing I could really do now is maybe try and visit some characters who we haven't seen in a minute and just like see how they're doing. So I'm going to visit Barbara the werewolf. So Barbara the werewolf is literally a character from like the first episode. She's friends with Zana, and I accidentally shot her once. Let's see. But I want to know if she wants to join the guild. We don't currently have any werewolf members. So you are going... Now I'm updating the story summary. You are going to visit Barbara the werewolf to see how she is doing. She's one of like the few characters who came up like a long time ago, who I'm like, I wonder just what she's been up to since. Zana puts on a fine lace dress. She looks very pretty. I need to go see Barbara the werewolf, you say. I need to tell her about the vampire situation. Who? Zana asked. You realize you never gave Zana a proper introduction. That's just not accurate. Zana and Barbara are friends. The reason I know who Barbara is because Zana told me. And also, I'm not trying to tell her about the vampire situation. I'm going to hit retry. You go to visit Barbara the werewolf. While she's a good friend, you don't want to intrude and give her space. You arrive at her house and knock on the door. Who is it? Ask a soft voice through the door. I'm going to only edit one part of that. While she's a good friend of Zana's, because she's not my friend, I shot her because I thought she was evil until Zana told me she wasn't evil. And when it says you arrive at her house, Barbara lives at Count Grey's castle. So I'm going to specifically say you arrive at Count Grey's castle and knock on the door. Who is it? Ask a soft voice through the door. And I'm going to say, I'm Jet Starlight. I am Zana's husband. I accidentally shot Barbara once, and I wanted to apologize and see how she was doing. Are you Barbara? Because I just hear a voice, so it may not be Barbara. Yes, says the voice. The door opens. Barbara is a young girl, perhaps 15 years old. She has long brown hair and blue eyes. Her skin is pale, as would be expected, but is otherwise unblemished. Okay, cool. Have you healed? I guess I'm going to ask, has the bullet wound healed? I'm trying to make sure that she's like, okay. She's also only 15, but we have other people who are like young on the guild. Like, it doesn't really matter how old you are. Oh yes, says Barbara. It was just a small graze. It was more embarrassing than anything. Barbara invites you in. She offers you tea, which you accept. So how long have you known Zana? That's not a bad question. I'm not going to ask that question, though. Essentially, I'm just going to say, I am sorry that I shot you. Zana and I have since started a monster hunter guild. We currently don't have any werewolves on the guild. I was wondering if you would like to join as the first werewolf member of the guild. What do you say? And this really will determine whether or not she's like a major character in the future. I don't know what to say, says Barbara. I would very much like to join the guild, but I'm worried Count Grey will not allow it. Interesting. That's fair. Maybe when you're older, Count Grey will approve. You are quite young, but you likely wouldn't be the youngest member of the team. Maybe in a few years, I will return and ask you again. Until then, thank you for the tea. I hope you have a good day. You take your leave. Zana is in her mid-20s, so she will be in her 30s by the time Barbara possibly joins the guild. As you walk home, you wonder if you should have asked Zana about this before approaching Barbara. Interesting. So now I'm going to visit Zana and ask her about her day. I'm probably going to spend the night with Zana again, and then that'll be when I, end the episode. You visit Zana. She asks you about your day. Tell her about Barbara and the possibility that she will join the guild. That's great, says Zaina with a smile. Let's talk about your day. Tell me what happened. Listen to Zaina talk about her day. Zaina says, the Countess asked me to defeat some bandits that were preying on merchants on the road. It was an easy job. I think the Countess just wanted someone to know she doesn't approve of banditry in her territory. Let's see. You are talking to Zaina about her day and getting ready for bed. I'm going to get rid of the part where I said, that's nice of her. Let's see. I'm going to ask her, well, I guess I'm just going to tell her, I'm getting ready to go to bed for tonight in preparation for tomorrow's monster hunt. Would you like to rest with me in my cot? I have to go meet with the Count in a moment, Zaina says. I suppose I could rest with you for a few minutes. Zaina joins you in your cot. You feel slightly guilty as she lays her head on your shoulder. I don't know why I would feel guilty. So I'm going to wish Zaina good night. Yeah, wish Zaina good night. Cuddle with Zaina. And drift to sleep. You and Zaina lay together. You drift off to sleep as Zaina tells you about her day, occasionally asking you questions about your own day. Zaina suddenly gets up. Ah, shit. Hold on. Hold up. Wake up. And apologize for falling asleep on her, talking. Falling asleep on her. I didn't mean to fall asleep. Hold up. I mean, I meant to fall asleep. I didn't think she was going to tell me more about her day. She had more to say about her day. You are mortified that you fell asleep and say, I'm so sorry, Zaina. I should have been a better friend and talked with you longer. Zaina sighs and says, it's okay, as long as you still love me. I'm still here for you, Zaina. Tell me more about your day. I'll go to sleep after we finish talking. The game was so low down with that. I didn't know we were gonna keep talking. I thought this is cool. Zaina lays her head back on your shoulder and you cuddle up again. Okay, she says. It was a nice day. You go to bed together, happy to have each other and part of the same team. Cool. That was awkward. Anyways. Thank you all for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding 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 ring the notification bell to be notified whenever I do these videos. If you guys would like to check out the full series so far, I have a link to the full series playlist in the end card and in the description box below. If you guys would like to read the story in its entirety, I'll have a link to the AI dungeon page in the description box below. And if you guys would like to talk to the series, well, if you guys would like to talk about the series together, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Or join our Discord. I have a link to the Discord in the description box below. Thank you for your time, and please have a happy day. Peace. Chicken gawa.